Hi all, and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things, and our monthly hooks and needles project review video. Today we are discussing box 11 or June 2025. I'm going to be doing this video in 4 parts. Part 1 is who is hooks and needles and what came in this month's box. Part 2 is looking at the projects themselves. Part 3 is pros, cons, and user error. And then part 4 is final thoughts and sign off. Timestamps are on the screen for you in the description box and as chapters in the video. So if you wanted to skip to the projects or however you want to watch the video, those do use those timestamps. They do make navigating a little bit easier. Before we get started, I do want to say hello to everyone. Hello to the new subscribers, the OGs, anyone in between. Hello to all the new people who have joined me by watching some of my previous crochet videos. And to anyone else who happens to watch this video and is not subscribed or has never encountered the channel before. You're also very much appreciated. And your kind comments, helpful comments are always so very welcome in the comment section. Let's just get into part 1. Who is hooks and needles and what came in the box? Well, you see what came in the box because Junior destroyed the box. And so I could have put everything back into the box like I normally do. But who is hooks and needles? Hooks and Needles is a monthly crochet or knit subscription box that they send to you on a monthly basis. Inside of the box, they send you a choice of 3 different patterns in a little pattern booklet, like you see here. They send you coordinating yarn to work the projects with. They give you 3 skeins of yarn, which is never enough to complete all 3 projects. So you kind of have to pick and choose which project you want to work on and then see if there's leftovers for other projects. They send you bonus items as well. This month it was this interesting yarn bowl multifunction holder thing. And yeah, they have digital patterns as well. They keep saying that there's online tutorials. I have not yet come across an online tutorial, but I'm not in the habit of like deep diving, doing like trying, like I have never spent the time to search out the online tutorial. They're not easy to get to. They don't make it easy to get to, so I don't bother with them. The pricing for the box is up on the screen for you. It used to be $33.97. They've upped it to $35.97. They've changed their website a little bit. So it takes you a second to get to where like their bonus items are located, but it does not matter. When you sign up, you always get bonus items. The other thing too is that these boxes are not like a get it in that month and it's gone kind of situation. These are a pre-planned box that builds on itself. So everybody starts with box 1, right, their starter box, and then you get box 2, and then box 3, and so on and so forth. So watching this video here, know that you haven't missed out on the June box. This is box 11, so if you stick with the subscription until box 11, right through 11 months, this is most likely the projects you're going to get. I have noticed that they've made some changes to their first box, and I think a couple of other boxes I've noticed too, so they may not be exactly the same, but that's kind of how they operate. So now let's talk about what came in this box. We got this pattern book. We have 3 different patterns available for us to work with. We had the first pattern, their so-called beginner pattern, which was this textured basket. Our second pattern was their intermediate level pattern, which is this magic snap hat. And then their third project, which I didn't get a chance to make, Junior. I don't know if that's how this video was or not. But the third pattern were these snug fit socks. I will make them in the future. I just A, didn't have enough yarn to work on them, and B, to be honest, I didn't have enough time or really inclination. Like, we were going through a heat wave. My house was really hot, and the last thing I wanted to do was to try to experiment making socks. Like, to be 100% honest, this was not something I wanted to mess around with. I will make them in the future. I will get yarn that works for it, and I will definitely come back to them. I just did not have it in me this month to make it. Our yarn this month was, I have the bands, I don't have them with me. It's called Fusion Wool. It is 70% wool, 30% acrylic, and each skein is 50 grams and measures 99 yards in length. Fusion Wool is machine washable, shrink proof. It offers warmth and natural feel of cotton with the easy care and durability of acrylic, making it a practical choice for everyday projects that require comfort and resilience. So we got 3 colors: white, dark green, and light green. And this is what I have left of them. So almost the same amount in each. I only use these to make I only used these to make the hat. I did not try to make the basket with it. And like I said, I didn't touch the socks. So I have like a little bit left for a future project, but not a whole heck of a lot. And then the bonus item this month was this thing here. So we have like a gauge on the top, I guess, for needles. We have another gauge here. We have like a blocking thing, like a little rough ruler. Like, this is supposed to be like a yarn bowl, and then the bottom has pegs, so you could, in theory, use this as like a blocking board. And then you have this side here, which pops out, and it's for holding things. Like, I just have a few things here. They put stitch markers along the top, but like, here's a pair of scissors that you can stick into it. All right, here's some crochet hooks. So that's kind of how that works. It's not unique to hooks and needles. I looked this up. It's called like a wooden yarn bowl, wooden multifunction yarn bowl, something like that. Someone is selling them on Etsy for $25, which is absolutely ridiculous. You can get them on Amazon for $10. And you can also, it looks like Temu or Wish has them for like $3. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. I thought that I could break it down and take it with me to Canada while I crochet there. But I don't know. I don't know about it. But it is your bonus item. And so you might like multifunction things like this. But to me, I just find that they're a bit more fussy than I enjoy. So let's get to part 2. Looking at the projects themselves. We have to move Junior. The house is so much cooler now, and they're all much more active. So like, Junior's jumping around and having fun again. He always kind of was, because like of the other cats, he was of all the cats, he was the only one who wanted to stay in the air-conditioned bedroom with us. He'd sleep like the whole night with us and everything, and I'd take him out and he'd just go running back into the room and like onto the bed before I could like get back into the room. So anyway, let's talk part 2, the projects. So I made the hat first. This is it all together. So it looks the same on both sides. They made the brim so that you can flip it up, which is really cute. The pattern is really kind of cute. I don't know if I did it exactly right, but it did come out looking like the picture. The colors aren't like, the picture has like a teal rather than like a green, and I like the teal better, but this is kind of how it turned out. The way that they had you doing the stitches and stuff was really cool. Like they called it like a mosaic crochet, and like they gave you a chart, and I did not really quite understand the chart, but then as I was working through the steps, so they give you the chart and then they give you like the actual rows and the actual steps, and then as you're working through the rows, you're working through the steps, you got to see how it all kind of started to come together, and that you could at some point, instead of like continually looking back at the steps, this chart suddenly made sense to me. So that was kind of interesting, kind of cool to see. So here's a small picture of the hat laid out flat, and here is my hat laid out flat. It looks a little bit different, and we're going to get into that in pros, cons, and user error. But I will say that I ended up making this slightly bigger than what they suggest making it. And that was on the advice of someone in my comment section. So if that was you, thank you so much for the advice. So yeah, this is the hat. Here's the top. I did do this snap, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And then here is the interior. Not that the interior matters as much, but like it's a pretty clean crochet, right? Like you're alternating rows, but you end up getting like alternating colors in your row, but you end up getting this like really cool texture from it. So yeah, like when you look at the two stitches together, they don't look exactly the same. So I do wonder if I did something wrong, but I did follow it. Like they wanted to do a lot of back loop only. Oh my gosh. I think I know what I did wrong. Berg. I will be, well, for you it'll be seconds, but for me it's gonna be a couple minutes. Be right back. Okay, so I misread the pattern. I still think it looks really, really cool. I still really like it. But what they wanted you to do, and what I misread, is that they wanted you to do a drop down double crochet, and it walks you through how to do a drop down double crochet. And it makes sense when you look at it how you're supposed to do it, right? It says drop down double crochet in the unused front loop of the stitch 2 rows below, which makes a lot of sense, right? Nowhere on this does it even tell you to do a what is it? The double crochet where you wrap front post double crochet. They call it a drop down double crochet, and in my head I heard front post double crochet, and then I continued doing a front post double crochet on the entirety of the hat. So the pattern is the same, the method is the same, but the texture of the outcome is completely different, and now I feel really, really silly about that. I'm filming this video a little bit early so that I can get it edited and ready to go for Sunday. What I think I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do a quick swatch of how this is supposed to look. So you can insert that here. Editing Fred here. Instead of doing a picture for the swatch, I just decided to do a really quick video kind of showing you what this pattern looks like. Junior can't just like not let me have a video to myself. So I just did like a little tiny skinny swatch to show you how the texture on this looks like this, right? Using the colors from the bowl that we're going to talk about in a second, or the basket that we're going to be talking about in a second. So this is the texture of the front post double crochet, and then this is the texture and pattern of the actual way you're supposed to be doing it. So whereas this one here, you end up seeing like the transition shapes and stuff in here, this is a much more smoother, kind of cleaner looking pattern. So the hat still works, right? But I just wanted to show you what this pattern looks like in real time. I don't know. How this pattern looks when you're trying to actually make it properly. The other thing that I don't think that I say in this video, I'm only halfway through editing this video and I decided to film this and insert it, is that I think that this technique would work really, really well for like a nice chunky yarn, right? And get like a chunky kind of hat out of it. And I think that would look really, really cool. So anyway, Junior, you don't need to be scissors. This is what it looks like now. I'm also letting you see Junior because this is one of the last videos I'm filming before I go away on vacation. So, and he's not in much of the pre-filmed content. I can't believe I did that. I don't know how I misread the pattern, so I don't know how I misread the pattern so badly, but I'm still really happy with it. I was really happy making it. So anyway, that is this. And then with the top, what they did is that they have like a snap already sewn into the pom-pom part. You sew this snap in together and then you just snap them together. I don't know how secure this is. They tend to pop off each other fairly well, but the snap is really strong, so it might just be how I attached the snap. But here it is. Here's a photo of it on the new like little hat stand thing that I bought, so you can kind of get like a full idea of how it looks. Like, I think it looks pretty cool. So let's talk our second project and hope that I actually made it right. So the second project is their beginner level project. And that is this two-toned basket. The basket was fairly easy to get together. It's just half double crochets up until you reach the top. And then they did a new technique. They did a spike stitch, which is kind of a really cool looking stitch here on the top. But the rest is all just half double crochets. I did the metallic pink that I talked about in a bag, or in a granny square bag that I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I used up more of that skein on the base. It's Red Heart. I found the band for this. It is Red Heart with Love Metallic in fuchsia. And then I did a light pink that I got from Dollar Tree. It's called, it's just their standard acrylic Premier yarn or something like that, in a very light pink. So these are the two colors that I used, and this is how much of each I have left. So I've made 2 projects so far with this pink, which started off at uh, 200 yards, 127 grams, 4.5 ounces. So yeah, this is the basket. This is the inside. This is the outside. Here's the side. They say you could roll your rim, so that's kind of what I did. So I have like this interesting little rolled rim. To give context to size, right? Pair of scissors, measuring tape, stapler, pencil. So it's a pretty decent size. It's a pretty decent height. It's about half a pencil tall. If you want actual measurements. Mine came out to be roughly 7 inches by 3 inches rolled, 4 inches unrolled. And they say that it should be 8 inches in diameter and 4.5 inches tall. So it's a little smaller than they said, but I did not swatch this at all. I completely forgot to swatch both of them. So mine is a bit smaller than what they said, but I still think it turned out pretty cool. I'm still pretty happy with it. Baby cat is back. So let's get into part 3. Pros, cons, and user error. Junior, I don't think you fit, little one. I think it's been a year since you would fit into the basket. He's so big. He's one of the biggest cats we have in the house now. Right, Bubby? And he says it's his basket now. Oh, you can't even see. Like, look how cute he is. I am going to miss him when I am gone. Anyway, so I didn't swatch them, so there's that. Let's start. Pro. I love the colors that I chose for this. It's really easy to love the colors when you pick them yourself. I love how they kind of work together. I like how simple this basket is, but it still creates something of some interest. I like the technique of the spiked stitch. I could, oh, Junior. Maybe I won't miss him. I like the design of the spiked stitch. I could probably like block this and get this to look a lot cleaner on the end. I might do that in the future. But not interested in doing so now. So yeah, I liked being able to follow the pattern. I liked the look of this two-tone basket. I like that you can have like a rim on it if you want, or you could straighten it all out and make yourself like a taller basket. You'd probably have to, again, block it or something so that you can make the rim stand up right. But I like this. I like this a lot. I like the size of it. I like how it came together. I like this hat too. I really like the texture on it. I like the introduction of a new style, like a mosaic crochet. I like the brim on this. I like the added thought of putting like the little snap-on top. I like it. I like it a lot. Cons. For the basket, I don't think there are any cons, and I don't think there are any user error that I can think of off the top of my head. The only real user error I had is I kind of missed a stitch down in here. There might be a missed stitch or two down on the bottom, but this came together really well. It worked out really well, so I have no complaints on that. But for this one, there's a couple of cons. Con number one, the sizing is weird. Now, part of it is swatching, which is why you see the two stitch holders here. So I forgot to swatch it earlier on. Their swatching, though, kind of annoyed me in this pattern because they said gauge 17 single crochet stitches and 18 rows in 4 inches. But so you have to make 18 rows before you know whether or not the size works for you. Like, that's pretty far into it, especially when you're doing 20 single crochet at, I don't know, it feels like a weird gauging grouping to me. But I completely forgot to do it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So they wanted you to work your band up to 72 or 74 rows, right? Working your band 72 times. And we've done this ribbing before. This was the same way of doing ribbing in on the socks from Mary Maxim. It's the same kind of thing where you back loop and front, or where you front loop and back loop, or you front loop and front loop. How does it work? Back loop only. So, right, you back loop only, you turn your work, you back loop again, you turn your work, and you do 72 rows of it, right, for a finished row of 74. And when you get to that point, your brim should measure 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters. So when I hit 72 times, when I hit 74 rows, I made it to here, and this ended up only being 32 centimeters. Centimeters because that was what the measuring tape I had near me was. So 32 centimeters is 12.5 inches. So then they wanted you so then if I worked it to where they wanted it to be at 14.5 inches or 37 centimeters, that's where this second stitch marker is. And as I'm looking at it, that's not 2 inches. But anyway, I made it to here, and then I had to continue on another few inches to get it to this point here. So this is how much extra I ended up having to do past my initial stitching. Now again, this is tighter, it's shorter than it should be, and that's again on me because I didn't properly swatch it. But that's how much extra I had to add. And then I also had to look at how the repeat on the pattern went, and I had to make sure that I kept this in groupings of 4 so that the pattern worked out. So this is 72, 4, 6, 8, 80, 2, 4, 6. I did 88 rows for the band rather than 72 to get it to fit on my head. And this is still on the tight side. So if I had more patience, I would have continued working it to make it probably 92 to like make it a little bit looser on my head. So that's a con, is that even though they say 37 centimeters, 14.5 inches, even when like that stretches out, that's not a whole lot of space. Like my head, and my husband says I have a fairly average looking head to my body. My head measures like 21 inches, 21.5 inches. So if you do a 14.5 inch circumference for an adult hat, for me, that's a third of the size too short. And even with the stretch, right? Like that would be a really uncomfortable stretch. I don't think I could get a 14.5 inch unstretched hat onto my head, if that makes any sense. So this runs small. You definitely need to know the size of the head that you're working on. Look at like size averages maybe on the internet and then go from there. So that's my biggest con. User error. Well, I made it wrong. So this whole top section isn't how it's supposed to look. It looks really, really cool, and I was really, really proud of myself. But yeah, because it's wrong, I can't really talk too much about that. And then just because of not swatching and stuff like that, and then this, like all of my joining underneath the hat here, right, this was the decreases and stuff were changed up a little bit, but if you look, I think that I did an all right job doing the decreases. So yeah, let's get into part 4, final thoughts. I actually really liked both of these projects this month. I really like how they came together. I really liked learning the new mosaic kind of way of working things. I liked the spike stitch. I'm going to think I probably like the new way of doing this drop down double crochet. That's cool. That's something I've never made before. So there's that to consider. There's that to enjoy. I really, really liked the yarn in this month's project. Like, this yarn feels really nice to work with. There wasn't any splitting, there wasn't any issues. It came together, it flowed quite nicely. I really enjoyed that about it. I don't know if I like this thing, but I'll experiment with it more and decide. But that's this month's project. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you not? Have you ever made such an epic failure? It's so funny. I had an issue on my Sewers Club project on Friday. I have an issue with this here. Who knows what is going to happen next time. I'm usually so very careful with reading instructions when I'm working through projects, so I'm really surprised that it told me to do one thing and my brain told me to do something completely different. Like, completely different. It's crazy. But has that ever happened to you? And have you liked or disliked the outcome from it? I also did that too in my murder mystery quilt, right? My third block. I put that together completely wrong as well. So maybe my brain does need a bit of a vacation. And I guess that's a good thing, because as you're watching this, I'm on a plane to Canada. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you've ever messed up so epically. And do you like my hat, even though it's not the stitch that it's supposed to be? I'd be really curious to hear all your thoughts about that. So, what do we have coming up? Well, July is a lot of pre-filmed content talking about like my sewing room, some notions I like, some things I'd like to make, some things that have been abandoned, all of that fun stuff. In the immediate future, Wednesday is our Mary Maxim Crochet Club of the Month unboxing. I have that package sitting next to me. I'm going to unbox that next. So that's Wednesday. And then Friday, I'm really hoping to get my husband to film, or not even film, but to take pictures of what came in the Kitnit box, and maybe try to get some videos of the cats playing and eating their treats. But sometimes that's a tall order. Sometimes I can't get him to do that. So if that's not the case, then it'll be something else on Friday. So think about subscribing if you want to hang out with me and see some of these upcoming videos. Like this video if you enjoyed it, if you've made it to the end. And I'm going to go. So with all of that being said, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye!